Hey everybody, welcome to another video. Today in this video I'm going to be building a PC. So these are the parts that I will be using to build a very budget friendly computer. All these parts are brand new except for the CPU which I bought used recently. This is an i3-10100. This is a 4-core CPU. It has got a total of 8 threads. And this is going to be more than sufficient for the sort of build I'm doing. This is going to be aimed at office work, but that doesn't mean it cannot handle a little heavy tasks too. So if you want to game on this, you can just install a discrete GPU, any budget discrete GPU under 10,000 rupees, and you're going to be good to go with this thing. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the onboard graphics on this CPU. So let's talk about all the parts that I'm going to be using. First up, let's talk about the platform. This is going to be a gigabyte board. It is an H510M H board. This is a very basic board. It hasn't got anything special going for it. It is a very basic board. I'm going to just get it out of the box and I'm going to show it to you. So there is nothing special with this board, as I mentioned, but this is going to be more than sufficient for the sort of build I'm going for. So if you're someone who is going to be upgrading to a better CPU on the exact same platform, this 10th generation platform, 10th or maybe 11th generation, I would not suggest you to go with this board. If you're going to be staying with the exact same CPU like an i3 or a little faster i3, only then this board is going to make sense. Other than that, I would not suggest you to buy this board because this board has got absolutely nothing over these VRAMs. This board is going to be sufficient for this i3, but it is not going to be sufficient for any hexa-core or octa-core CPUs because it has got absolutely no cooling over these VRAM sections, and these VRAMs are going to get really toasty if I'm going to install a hexa-core or an 8-core CPU. It does makes a lot of sense for this 4-core CPU, but it is not going to be a good choice if you have a high-end CPUs such as an i5 or maybe an i7 CPU. The second most important component is an NVMe SSD. And by the way, I almost forgot to mention, I paid 11,000 rupees for this CPU and this motherboard. I bought this CPU used, but the motherboard is absolutely brand new. Then we have some RAM sticks. This is not going to be anything special. This is just going to be a traditional DDR4 3200 MHz RAM. It is an 8GB module. It is clocked at 3200. The case latency is 16, 18, 18, 38. Very basic conventional DDR4 RAM that you can buy for a really good price these days. Then we have a WD240GB NVMe SSD. The model is SN350. I thought this is going to be just enough for the sort of build. There are not going to be any sort of mechanical hard drives in this build. Now let's talk about the power supply. This is really important, but I was really conservative about the budget of this build, so I was forced to buy a cheap unit. And we have the Ant Esports PSU. I've used this PSU recently in a build and there were no problems. I'm not entirely sure about how much wattage this thing can handle, but we'll see that in the future. And I'm going to test the reliability of this thing and I'm going to report it on this channel in the future. So this is a basic PSU, just a 400 watt unit. It has got 2 years warranty, continuous power, it says on the box, a 120mm fan. This one is actually better than all the stock PSUs that come with the case itself. If you're someone who is going to use the PSU that comes with the case, I'm going to suggest you to not do that because those PSUs are really cheap. You're not going to get enough mileage out of those. And if you're going to use such a cheap PSU, then there are a lot of chances of, putting your components at a risk, and it may result in damaging your motherboard or the processor. So I would suggest you to buy at least something like this. This is a decent PSU, I think, at this price range, and I'm going to use this for this build. Now let's talk about the CPU cooler. At this price range, it was not necessary to buy a CPU cooler because it comes with the stock Intel heatsink. But I still went with this Hyper 212 Spectrum V3 because this PC is going to get used in a really hot environment. An office environment is generally pretty hot if you don't have air conditioners running, and I'm well aware that this machine is going to get used in an environment where there is no air conditioner. So I went with this cooler so that the operating temperatures of the CPU can be kept under check. I have already done an unboxing video of this cooler, so if you are someone who is interested in that, you can check out the channel for that. Now I'm going to just assemble everything together, and then we are ultimately going to test this thing. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just unlatch this, and I'm going to reveal the CPU pins. So it is really very straightforward. Out of the box it comes like this. You just have to pull this arm out like that and then simply open the socket. Now I'm going to install the CPU right now. So to install the CPU, if you're not aware how it's done, you need to just align this small triangle with the triangle on the motherboard, and that's how you put the CPU in the socket. It is actually really simple and straightforward. Then just bring this retention arm down and just put it the way it was in the first place. So that's how you install the CPU. It is actually that simple. Now I'm going to install the NVMe SSD over this slot. I don't know how exactly this thing works because I haven't seen a locking mechanism for an SSD like this before. So I'll have to figure out how this works. So yeah, it is actually very straightforward. You just need to pull this off, and once you install the SSD, you just need to push it down. In that way it is going to lock the SSD. It is an absolutely toolless mechanism, which is actually good. I'm not sure about the length of the drive. I guess this is going to be a long SSD. Yeah. So there are no heat sinks over the SSD, but that is kind of expected at this price range. I'm also going to make sure to install a fresh Duracell battery here. So installing an M.2 drive is also very simple. You just need to align the cutouts on the drive. It is exactly the way here also. So just slide the drive like this in the slot. Keep it at an angle like this. Push it in slowly, and once it goes in, you just need to lock it down using a screw on the motherboard, or if you don't have a screw, a mechanism like this. It is also really simple. And there we go. So the SSD is installed, and it is actually that simple to install an M.2 SSD. I'm not going to use a discrete GPU, so I'm going to just lock it down like that. And this first RAM slot too. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bring up the case, and I'm going to show you what I chose for this build. And then later I'm going to install this motherboard and all the other things. And later in the video I'm going to show you the entire build. So it's time for the case. So here we have the case itself. This is a really cheap case. This is probably the cheapest case that I've ever bought. It is not even full 1000 rupees, which equates to about not even $10. So this is from Intex, and this is a really cheap cabinet. I still went with this because I wanted to keep the budget of the PC under 20,000 rupees. So I went with this case. This has got nothing special. It is actually a very basic case. I've removed both the side panels so that I can show you all what it comes with. So this is a very basic chassis, a very thin metal, but I cannot expect, I guess, more than this at this price range. And the most important reason why I went with this is the cutouts. It has got all the basic cutouts that I was looking for. The only problem is there is no cutout for the CPU's power here, but I can route the cable from just here, and it is going to be not a big issue for me. So I'll have to install the PSU, and then I'll need to get the cable through from this hole first, and then only I can install the motherboard. So this is a very basic case. It is going to get the job done. There is not going to be any sort of airflow in this case because this is a really budget build. And if in the future I need to install a fan or two, there is one 140mm and one 120mm fan slot at the front, and there is one more fan that can be installed on the side panel too. So I guess that is going to be more than sufficient for the sort of machine this is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just get all these standoffs and screws off from this little packet, and I'm going to install all that I need, and then I'm going to get the motherboard, power supply, everything together, and later I'm going to show you how the build looks like. The build is finally complete and it turned out quite nicely. I really liked the way this looks now. So this is a budget PC that you can build under 20,000 rupees without the monitor. If you are going to include the price of the monitor, this is going to come under 25,000 rupees. So at or under 25,000 rupees, this build makes a lot of sense. If you want to build this exact same computer, this is going to cost you around 30,000 rupees. But I'm not going to suggest you to go with a 10th generation CPU if you are buying a new processor, because buying 12100F is going to make a lot more sense over the 10100. Go with the 12100F if you are building a new PC. Anyways, this is all I have for you in this video. I hope you found this build video interesting and useful. So videos like these take a lot of time and energy to produce, and without you guys supporting me, I won't be able to continue this for long. So it would be great if you can support me by using the links that I'm providing in the description to buy all these products if you have finally made your purchase decision. I hope you liked the video. Please use the comment section down below if you have any questions or queries. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'm going to talk to you in the next video.